80% of Americans believe the media is biased, and yet we still let it shape how we see the world and each other. What if your beliefs were installed and your emotions engineered? We live in a world where the media doesn't just report what happens, it tells you what to feel, what to believe, and who to blame. You've probably felt it too, scrolling through the headlines, that tightness in your chest, the rush of anger or anxiety or judgment before you even read the full story. And without even realizing it, your nervous system is hooked. We're not just being informed anymore. We are extremely influenced by our media, which is emotionally engineered to influence us and divide us. The news isn't about facts anymore. It's about feelings, emotions, and entertainment. Headlines don't just exist to inform you, they exist to provoke a reaction out of you, to stir emotion, to spark outrage, and to keep you clicking and coming back for more. Fear, anger, anxiety, shock, these aren't just side effects, they are the product. You're not just watching the news, you're being played by it. Because when you're emotionally activated, you're not thinking clearly. You lose access to the brain's frontal cortex, the part of your brain that's responsible for logic, reflection, and critical thinking. And in an emotional state, you're easier to manipulate, easier to divide, distract, and direct. And here's the part we don't talk about enough. It's not just about profit. It's about power and pushing hidden agendas. For example, maybe they're pushing a political agenda, supporting a specific candidate or party, protecting powerful interests, hiding inconvenient truths, promoting foreign alliances, supporting an ideology, swaying public opinion, promoting a sponsor, or simply distracting you from what really matters. This is not journalism. This is not about keeping you informed. It's about keeping you emotionally loyal to a side, a story, or a system. It's emotional programming. Emotional manipulation is now the business model, and outrage is the currency. We're not just disagreeing anymore. We're being trained to be binary, to see everything as black or white, good or evil, right or left, patriot or traitor. We've replaced inquiry with identity. Instead of asking, is this true? We ask, is this what my side believes? It's simple, it's satisfying, and it's the exact kind of thinking that shuts down critical thought and fuels emotional reactivity. Because when everything becomes us versus them, there's no room for curiosity, no space for context, no tolerance for complexity. Whether it's fear-driven stories, constant villainizing of the other side, or sensationalism replacing context, this is not journalism. It's not news. It's attention engineering, and it mirrors how cults operate. If you question the group, you're labeled a threat. Doubt isn't allowed, only loyalty. Even honest questions start to feel dangerous. Binary thinking feels easier. It gives you certainty, a team, a purpose, but it's also intellectually lazy and emotionally expensive. Because once you've picked a side or been subtly pressured, conditioned, or born into one, you stop asking questions. You stop thinking for yourself. You stop looking into the other side, not because you've weighed all the facts, but because you've been taught that they are bad, wrong, evil. The other isn't just wrong, they're dangerous. And when you believe that, there's no reason to listen, only to fear, mock, or silence. And that's exactly where they want you. So, what then is true journalism? Real journalism doesn't tell you what to think. It gives you the tools to think for yourself. It asks hard questions. It verifies facts. It investigates all sides, not just the one that aligns with a certain narrative or agenda. It doesn't care about your party, your feelings, or your team. It cares about truth, even when it's inconvenient, even when it challenges the people or ideas or belief systems you like. A true journalist doesn't build echo chambers. They don't stay loyal to one side or protect anyone's reputation. They dig, they question, they verify. They aim for neutrality, not loyalty. They don't sell outrage, they build clarity. They don't flood you with emotion, they invite you into discernment. Now, let's be honest, even so-called neutral outlets, they have leanings too. Every anchor, every writer, every editor brings their own worldview, beliefs, and emotional filters and past into the story. True objectivity, almost impossible. And that's why it's so important to understand how easily we are influenced, especially when we think we're being objective, even if we don't want to admit it. And there's a huge psychological cost. When the media tells you, or even just implies, only we are telling the truth and everyone else is lying or dangerous, that is not journalism. That is emotional control. It mirrors the same tactics as an abusive relationship: fear, isolation, loyalty tests, and shaming anyone who asks too many questions or seeks to understand the other side. Sound familiar? That's not healthy skepticism. That's grooming of your belief systems. And while we're busy fighting each other, we stop fighting for the truth, no matter where it lands. That distraction, that division, it's not just collateral damage, it's part of the design. So, how to reclaim critical thinking? What do we do now? How do we reclaim our minds when so much around us is designed to hijack them? It starts with awareness, with recognizing that this is happening on all sides in every system in varying degrees to all of us. And once you see it, you can choose to step out of it. So, that step one is to slow down and build awareness. Before you react, slow down. Pause, not to suppress your feelings, but to witness them. To notice when your nervous system spikes, when you feel pulled into this us versus them, when something feels emotionally charged or satisfying, but intellectually lazy. This is not about judgment. It's about noticing the moment when your thinking gets hijacked so you can come back to yourself. You can't reclaim your mind if you don't notice when it's being shaped. Step two, ask better questions. Ask yourself, why am I so activated by this? Am I seeking clarity or just confirmation? Where did this belief come from? Who benefits if I believe this? What's the full context that I'm not being shown? What emotion is trying to activate in me? What's the other side actually saying before I dismiss it? These aren't just questions, they are exits, exits from emotional programming. They help you to restore your mental sovereignty. Step three, break the bubble. Seek voices outside your echo chamber, not to agree, but to understand, to get to the facts. Explore multiple angles, original sources, independent journalists, podcasts, international outlets, opposing perspectives. You don't have to agree with every side and you don't have to adopt every perspective. But if you only listen to what confirms what you already believe, you're not being informed, you're being conditioned. When you're willing to hear other perspectives, even the uncomfortable ones, you begin thinking by yourself again. Curiosity is the antidote to indoctrination. It breaks the cycle and is the foundation of real critical thought. This is why I talk about coercion, control, and grooming, because it's not just personal, it's cultural, it's systematic, and it's happening all around us. You may not be able to control the media, but you can control who you become in response to it. Truth doesn't scream the loudest. It lives in the pause, in the space between reaction and reflection, in the questions we are still brave enough to ask.